Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Nimisha Jadon from School of Studies Environmental Chemistry, Jivaji University, Gwalior. Today we are going to discuss here about a module analysis of volatile organic compounds under the paper of environmental analysis. The learning objective of this module included the analysis of VOCs, that is volatile organic carbons, including benzopyrene and polyaromatic hydrocarbon. Their sources, health effects were also discussed here in the module, and after that we are discussing here about the control methods of VOC into the air. Now first of all one should know that what is volatile organic compounds. These are the compounds that have a diverse class of chemicals, contaminants that are emitted from the certain liquids and the solids. The human exposure to volatile organic carbons occurs predominantly through inhalation of air or particularly indoor air. These are the compounds which are present in the atmosphere and having a highly volatile nature, so that they are either they are emitted by the solids or by the liquids. As there are many indoor sources of VOCs, there may be up to 300 different VOCs found in the indoor air. For some VOCs have high level can be detected by smell, but the other VOCs have no odor. So the odor is not a good indicator or the indication of the overall level of VOCs. The VOCs are released by a wide array of sources within the home, for example household products and building material, and also migrate indoors from the outdoor sources, for example industrial and the mobile sources. The residential VOC exposures are associated with a variety of health outcomes, especially in young children. To lower the VOC burden in your home, there are a number of simple steps that can be taken, from choosing products that release fewer VOCs to helping to capture VOCs by using air purification, as well as increasing ventilation in the home when products are used. Volatile organic compounds or VOCs are the chemicals including benzene, xylene, toluene, benzopyrene, then some polyaromatic hydrocarbons, gasoline, formaldehydes, and many more volatile organics is considered or comes under the category of volatile organic compounds. That VOCs are released by a wide array of sources within the home, for example household products and the building material, and also migrate indoors from the outdoor sources like industrial and the mobile sources. The residential VOC exposure are associated with a variety of health outcomes, and especially in the young children. To lower the VOC burden in your home, there are a number of simple steps that can be taken, from choosing products that releases fewer VOCs to helping to capture VOC by using a air purification, as well as increasing ventilation in the home when the products are used. The sources of VOCs in the home included the most common indoor volatile organic carbon emission source included consumer products like cleaners, solvents, or mothballs. Then the building materials, for example floor and wall coverings, carpet, insulation, paint, wood finishing products are the other sources of volatile organic carbons into the atmosphere. Then the combustion process like smoking, cooking,
and the home heating also responsible for the presence of volatile organic carbon in the home. Then the personal care products like shampoo, soaps, and the attached garages, dry cleaning clothing, and the municipal tap water are the other sources of volatile organic carbons in home. The next we are discussing here the health effects of volatile organic carbon exposure. The risk of health effects from inhaling any chemical depends on how much is in the air and how long and how often a person breathes in it. The breathing in low level of VOCs for long periods of time may increase some pupils' risk of health problems. The several studies suggest that exposure to VOCs may make symptoms worse for people with asthma or who are particularly sensitive to chemicals. These are much different exposure than the occupational exposure. It is important to remember that the VOCs refer to a group of chemicals and each chemical has its own toxicity and potential for causing different health effects. The next that we are discussing here is the methods to reduce the volatile organic carbon exposure. While the volatile organic carbons are consistently identified in residential air, the concentrations of the individual VOCs and what specific VOCs are identified in many one home vary considerably. This variation suggests that there are steps that can be taken to reduce VOCs level within the home. The effective strategies to lower indoor VOCs levels are remove, replace, or relocate existing products and materials that releases VOCs. Remove as many as sources of the VOCs as possible. For example, using less cleaning products, buying smaller volumes of cleaning products, or storing them in a location outside the home, for example, garage. Then help remove VOCs from the air by increasing ventilation and by using an air purifier with an air cleaning system that includes a carbon filter. Then replace typical consumer products and building materials with certified green products that generate lower VOCs or no VOCs. For example, low VOCs paint. When considering green products, care should be taken to evaluate them carefully as many green claimed are largely questioned. Then relocate products that release the VOCs to the areas that are not inhabited like detached garages and sheds. Also relocate the use of these products to outdoors, for example painting furniture outside or in the garage. The common symptoms of exposure to high level of VOCs including then acute and short-term exposure, that is year to the lifetime exposure, or the chronic exposure that limits to the hours or to the day. The acute exposure including the effects of VOCs, that is eye, nose and throat irritation, headaches, nausea and vomiting, damage, then dizziness, worsening of asthma symptoms. And the chronic exposure included the liver and kidney damage, cancer, and the central nervous system damage. Here we are discussing about the volatile organic compounds including PA compounds, that is polyaromatic hydrocarbons compounds. The benzoapyrene, that is also denoted as BAP, is one of the most important constituent of PA, that is polyaromatic hydrocarbon compounds, and also one of the most potent carcinogens. This can be measured in both particulate phase and the vapor phase. In the vapor phase, the concentration of benzopyrene is significantly less than the particulate phase. Therefore, more care should be taken for the measurement of benzopyrene in the particulate phase. The equipment or the instruments required for the analysis of volatile organic carbons including PM10 high volume sampler, then Whatman glass fiber filter, then rotary evaporator, gas chromatograph with flame ionization detector fitted with capillary column, then variable volume micropipettes, then beakers, then amber color vials 3 to 5 ml capacity in general, and the chromatographic column.
Chemicals and solvents used for the analysis of VOCs included the calibration or the reference standards of benzopyrene and other polyaromatic hydrocarbons like triphenylbenzene and polyaromatic hydrocarbons, and triphenylbenzene is used as internal standard of ultra residue grade. Then the solvents like toluene, cyclohexane with the minimum residue less than the 0.005% is used as a solvent, and the other chemicals like silica gel of 60 to 80 mesh size should be of highest purity and of reputed maker with the transability and the purity and the analysis certificate. Now we are discussing here about the sampling or instrument or the filter. Selection is done by the 24-hour sampling by using PM10 high volume sampler with 8 hours sampling time by using EPM 2000 glass fiber or the equivalent filter. The sampling frequency is checked by sampling is done in twice in a week and total of 104 days monitoring in a year. The particulate laden benzopyrene samples are collected on a glass fiber filter and using the PM10 sampler at a flow rate of not more than 1 meter cube per minute at selected location. The sampling height may be between the 3 to 10 meters from the ground level for the ambient air quality monitoring, particularly for the VOCs. Now we are discussing about the sample filter storage. After sampling, the filters are kept in a controlled laboratory condition, temperature in between the 20 to 25 degrees centigrade, in an envelope marked with necessary identification information if processed immediately. Otherwise, wrap the filter in aluminum foil and kept it in a refrigerator at 4 degrees centigrade in dark to avoid photo-oxidation of polyaromatic hydrocarbons.
Now the next is sample processing. The sample processing number one included the extraction procedure. In the extraction procedure, the filter papers, half of all the filter papers collected in a day, are cut into strips using scissors and transferred to 50 ml beaker. Then add 50 ml of toluene, that is GC or HPLC grade, and then these samples are extracted with toluene using ultrasonic bath for about 30 minutes. Then repeat the procedure twice for complete extraction. Alternatively, sample can be extracted using sock slit extraction apparatus for about 8 hours with toluene and repeat it twice. After extraction, the filtration is done by filtering the extract sample with Whatman filter paper number 41 and that containing 2 gram of anhydrous sodium sulfate to remove moisture. Then the concentration is done after the filtration, and the filtrate is concentrated by using rotary vacuum evaporator 2 ml final volume. Then the cleanup process is carried out with using the silica gel. To clean up the impurities, first of all pass 2 ml of concentrated sample through the silica gel column. Then after cleaning, add 5 ml of cyclohexane and collect the eluate in 25 ml beaker. Then repeat the process for at least 3 times and collect it in the same beaker. Then alternatively, solid phase extraction may be used for clean up the impurities of the sample. Then the reconcentration is carried out by using again the rotary vacuum evaporator. In this process, the cleanup or the extract or the filtrate is further concentrated using the evaporator, and it is evaporated to nearly dryness with the help of nitrogen gas. Then the final sample volume is prepared with the dried sample is redissolved in 1 ml of toluene and transferred to the 4 or 5 ml of amber vials for the final analysis. Then the extracted sample storage is done by cap the sample vials and make with necessary identification. Then keep it in a refrigerator for 4 degrees centigrade prior to the analysis. Then the analysis is carried out by using gas chromatograph with the condition including the injector temperature capped is 300 degrees centigrade. Then FID, that is flame ionization detector temperature, is maintained at 320 degrees centigrade. Then column ultra 2 or equivalent, that is 25-meter length and 320 micrometer diameter is used for the analysis of VOCs. Then oven temperature capped at 120 degrees centigrade. Then the ramping is following to carried out the separation of various types of VOCs, and run time maintained at 30 to 40 minutes. Then the carrier flow gas is maintained at 0.5 ml per minute, and the gases for the FID flame like hydrogen flow maintained at 40 ml per minute, and zero grade air flow maintained at 400 ml of per minute, and the gases are passes through the whole system, and the FID gases directly transferred to the FID detector. Then we are discussing about the preparation of the standard calibration. The mixture of the stock standard solution of polyaromatic hydrocarbon mix standard solution of 16 compounds including benzopyrene of concentration of 1000 mg per liter or the 1000 nanogram per microliter in toluene is prepared. Then working standard solution of concentration 5, 10, 15, 20 or 25 nanogram per microliter concentration of the stock solution. Then prepared the solution by diluting these concentration from 200 to 40 times the stock of benzopyrene and the other polyaromatic hydrocarbon solution of 1000 mg per liter and concentration with the toluene. Then the internal standard 1,2,3 triphenylbenzene of concentration 1000 nanogram per microliter is added in the working standard solution so that the final concentration of internal standard is maintained at 10 nanogram per microliter. Then the calibration of gas chromatograph is carried out prior to the analysis. For that, the internal calibration inject 1 microliter of each working standard, that is of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 nanogram per microliter in triplicate is injected into the gas chromatograph and the plot the area ratio of the analyte polyaromatic hydrocarbon compounds and the corresponding internal standard against the concentration for each compounds and internal standard. Now, the external calibration is done by injecting 1 microgram of each working standard made in toluene into the GC equipped with FID and plot the area of analyte by a polyaromatic hydrocarbon compound against the corresponding concentration of the standard. The instrument is calibrated as per its manual or the software, and the quantification of that analyte will be based on peak area response of respective compounds with respect to the working calibration standard, that is a calibration factor. The retention time of various polyaromatic hydrocarbon compounds are obtained under the above GC conditions. The sample injection is carried out by taking 2 microliter of sample from the amber vial using a standard gas tight syringe and inject in the capillary GCFID instrument for analysis. Record the resulting concentration of each polyaromatic hydrocarbon compound including benzopyrene. A 10 nanogram per microliter concentration of benzopyrene or the other polyaromatic hydrocarbon standards are to be injected in GCFID instrument with every batch of samples. As the control internal standard of 10 nanogram per microliter concentration is added to each sample prior to the analysis in case of internal calibration is used.
Now we are discuss here about the determination procedure of benzopyrene in the air. For this analysis, first of all, the benzopyrene extracted from the air by the filter paper, and this filter paper again extracted with the toluene by using the ultrasonication. After the ultrasonication, the solution of toluene is filtered and dry with the anhydrous sodium sulfate solution. Then it is concentrated by using rotary evaporator. After that, the cleanup is done by using the silica gel column chromatography, and whatever the elution is collected at the bottom of the column chromatography with the cyclohexane, then it is evaporated to nearly dryness under the nitrogen stream. Then redissolve the evaporated residue of the benzopyrene in 0.5 to 1 ml in toluene, which is used as a sample for the capillary GC-FID or the GC-MS, that is gas chromatography equipped with flame ionization detector or the gas chromatography equipped with mass spectrometry. And for the next method, it is redissolved in 2.5 ml of methanol for the HPLC determination of benzopyrene equipped with UV fluorescence detector.
Now the calculation is done by calculating the concentration in nanogram per microliter of each identified analyte or the benzopyrene in the sample extract as follows. Calculate the air volume from the periodic flow reading taken during the sampling using the following equation, that is V is equal to Q into T, where Q is the average flow rate of sampling in meter cube per minute, T is the sampling time in minute, and V is the total sample volume at ambient condition in millicube. For the quality control, maintaining the quality control of the analysis, the recovery efficiency isotopically labeled benzopyrene or the other polyaromatic hydrocarbons surrogate standards are added to the sample prior to the extraction and the analysis. The recovery should fall between the 75 to 125% preferably, and a 10% nanogram per microliter concentration of benzopyrene or the other polyaromatic hydrocarbon standards are to be injected in GCFID instrument with every batch of samples or daily as a control. If substantial variation is found in observed concentration, instrument should be recalibrated. Then the internal standard of 10 nanogram per microliter concentration is added to each sample prior to the analysis in case of internal calibration is used. Then the detection limit of the developed method is determined with the help of the various formula for the minimum detectable concentration in terms of benzopyrene for a sampling period of 8 hours with about 480 meter cube of air passed will be 1 nanogram per meter cube, assuming 1 ml as the final volume of sample extract after cleanup and detectable concentration of 1 nanogram per microliter of that sample extract. The high-resolution capillary mass spectrometry or high-pressure liquid chromatography can improve sensitivity down to 1 nanogram per meter cube. Now we discuss here about the control and treatment processes of volatile organic carbons and hydrocarbons. The control and treatment of volatile organic carbons and organic hazards air pollutant emissions are generally accomplished by adsorption, incineration, condensation and gas adsorption, and biofilters. The methodology is usually chosen depending upon the temperature, composition, and volumetric flow rate of the emission stream, space constraints, and allowable installation and operational cost.
Here we are discussing the next control method, that is adsorption. This is one of the most commonly used method, especially for the controlling emissions from small sources. It can be a physical adsorption or the chemisorptions. The latter is rarely used for the VOC emission control because it involves a less reversible chemical bonding of the adsorbent, that is pollutant, and the absorbing solid, that is packing, and is relatively expensive. Then the physical adsorption uses a van der Waals forces, giving the advantage of reversibility and the regeneration due to the weaker bonding of the gas and absorbent material. The next procedure of controlling VOCs into the atmosphere is incineration. The incineration or the combustion is the another common VOC control technology. The complete combustion or the oxidation of pure hydrocarbons products, carbon dioxide and the water. The sulfur and nitrogen compounds produce acid gases, and limited air supply result in the formation of carbon monoxide. The complex organic compounds may not be oxidized completely in the residence time, and ash may form. For the most of the VOCs, oxidation must be done at high temperature unless the catalysts are involved.
The third one process of control of concentration of volatile organic carbons is condensation. The condensation and the gas absorption are most commonly used for highly concentrated VOC streams that are advantageous to recover, and the relatively large expense is warranted. It employs a drop in temperature and increase in pressure to cause the VOCs in the emission stream to condense. The clean air stream is separated from the condensate containing target pollutants in many cases, and very large temperature drops are required to achieve effective condensation and requiring significant energy investment to accomplish cooling. The next procedure of control is the gas absorption. The gas absorption involves the absorption of a gas into a liquid. The water can be used for recovery of water-soluble compounds such as acetone and low molecular weight alcohols, which can later be separated from water using distillation. Additives are often used to increase the effective mass transfer rate of the pollutants from the gas phase into the liquid phase, affecting the surface tension, reducing interfacial resistance, and increasing the apparent solubility.
So at the end of this module, we can conclude it that the human exposure to VOCs occur predominantly through inhalation of air, particularly indoor air. As there are many indoor sources of VOCs, there may be up to 300 different VOCs found in indoor air. Then the control and the treatment of VOCs and the organic hazardous air pollutants emission are generally accomplished by adsorption, incineration and the condensation of gas adsorption. So in this module we have discussed about their effects, sources, its determination procedure, and also the control measures of VOC into the ambient air. Thank you so much.